People who had COVID-19 or know someone who did. How bad was it? Dad got infected after going in and out of the hospital for his 4th brain surgery because the doctors keep messing up. After testing positive, the hospital sent him home, so he infected mom also. After passing, for some reason, they sent his body home. But nobody can touch it because of the possibility of getting infected. After dad's passing, mom went to the hospital to get tested. She already knew. She just wanted treatment, but was sent home. She collapsed while walking to her car. They admitted her, but only gave her IV, told her she was positive, then sent her home again. It's been rough. I'm 32, and it was the sickest I have ever been. 2 weeks of fever over 101, bad cough that lasted almost a month, shortness of breath, where if I walked more than a few steps I would end up doubled over gasping for air. It was pretty bad, but at least I'm all better now. All the edits, damn that blew up in the few hours I was asleep. 1. Thank you to everyone for everything. 2. My general condition before this was good. No underlying conditions. I was in really good shape. In the gym mostly every day. 3. Yeah, it really sucked. I was never really in fear though, because I caught it early enough that it wasn't really hyped that much. I think it was March 3rd that I went to the hospital. 4. I work as an Uber driver on the weekends, so I'm guessing that's how I caught it. 5. I was on an inhaler for a while afterwards. I tried working out about 3 weeks after I initially got sick. That was a joke. I literally ended up on my back wheezing and hacking 2 minutes into the workout. 6. I'm pretty much fully recovered now. The only effects I'm still feeling are just from taking so much time off from working out. 7. I think that's the gist of most of the questions. If you have a burning one that I didn't answer, I'm sorry. Feel free to ask me again. One more super important edit. Everything I have seen and read about this is that it affects everyone differently. Please don't read what I didn't think that it's great advice or anything like that. I would hate for someone to get worse because they listen to my dumbass on Reddit. Please listen to your doctors. I had it. I was basically bedridden for 2 weeks, barely doing anything except sleeping. Even then, I kept waking up at night a sweaty mess. I spread it to all my family members, but they showed extremely minor symptoms. Pretty weird stuff. I'm currently recovering. I'm a 30-year-old male with no health issues, so maybe that's the reason. But for me, it was like a mild cold. Felt crummy from Tuesday night to Thursday. Started feeling better Friday. Now I just have a bit of a cough and weird headaches. The testing process was a pain though. First one was inconclusive, so I had to get a doctor's note and go get another test. My sister, who was 47 with no underlying health issues, passed away from COVID-19. It took 10 days. She was in the hospital for the last 3. The scary part is she was making a recovery. Her lungs at day 7 were operating at 83%, and after 2 days in the hospital she had got them to 95%. In 29 hours it was a complete 180. I was able to text with her. She kept saying she was having a really tough time, but didn't go into much detail. My brother-in-law and 2 nephews also had it. He mistakenly thought his COVID was just from a good gym workout, as his body was just really sore. My nephew, age 13, puked one night and had a fever for a few hours. The youngest, age 7, never had any symptoms and felt fine, all tested positive. I see you, nurse, checking in. I just got cleared to go back to work tomorrow after testing positive a couple weeks ago. How bad was it compared to the COVID patients I've treated? Nothing. I didn't even have a fever or shortness of breath. Our ICU patients are so sick. All the things you've heard about on the news. Hypoxia, blood clots, multi-system organ failure. We've had many people in their 30s and 40s with no pre-existing conditions who've ended up just as sick as the 80-year-olds, and many of them haven't had good outcomes, sadly. I work at a major hospital where we routinely get the sickest patients transferred to us from smaller hospitals. So I realize I'm seeing the extreme opposite end of the spectrum, but it is scary. My symptoms were all so minor and non-specific that I blew them off or chalked them up to other things: spring allergies, dry hospital air, sleeping poorly on my shitty mattress, working overtime for several days until I realized I'd completely, profoundly lost my sense of smell and taste. That's when I knew I had to get tested. Lo and behold, it was positive. It sucked, but I'm very grateful I wasn't any sicker than I was, and especially that I have health insurance and work at a place that paid for my covered specific sick leave as well as having paid sick leave in general. I know there are so many other people out there who don't have such a safety net, and it seems very unfair. This is the first in the thread that sounds like my experience. Mid-40s. Day 1 felt like a cold. Day 2, raging headache. Day 3, raging headache and loss of smell and taste. They came back slowly and odd, just in time for breathing to get difficult. Just laying down felt like I couldn't get a full breath, still with a headache. So, worst hangover ever with a side of asthma. Oh, and lingering neuro issues. Aphasia and poor memory and can't concentrate. At the end of week 2 I tried to have a call with my client. During the call, they texted my boss to say I wasn't ready to work yet, and I'm constantly out of breath, and if I breathe too deep my lungs will catch and just exhale rapidly, which makes me more out of breath and want to take a deep breath, and it just happens in a loop until I'm exhausted. And this is a month after I was cleared by my local Department of Health. Never had a fever higher than 99, and only for one night. For a full month after this shit started you couldn't even get a test if you didn't have a fever and a few other symptoms. So frustrating. My grandmother got it in her late 80s and in a nursing home. She probably weighs 70 pounds and can barely sit up on the best of days. She had a fever for a week and a mild cough, then recovered. We are shocked. She's so weak that when the home told us she had it, we all thought she had no chance of beating it. Weird how it can kill strong healthy people, but somehow spare her. My mom had COVID. Started as a fever then quickly worsened. Within days she was in the hospital on oxygen. Seriously thought she was going to die. My dad has COVID. He has 0 symptoms and probably had it 4 days before the results. My dad is diabetic with kidney failure and multiple other health issues. Why my mother, who's mostly healthy, reacted so badly compared to my dad is uttering bewildering. Edit. For the love of God, if you have symptoms of COVID-19, please stay home. Don't ignore the signs. If you don't have symptoms, wear a mask and gloves whenever you leave your home. Please be careful and safe. So, my dad tested positive, and right now for him is just like a bad flu. Because the test results came back 3 days later, we continue to act normally as a family, so my mom and I probably have it too. We are almost 100% positive that my mom also has it, because she is losing her sense of smell and has been having similar symptoms like my dad. There is a big chance I have it too, but I have not presented any symptoms so far. A friend had it, he's okay now, but it was scary for a bit. He said it was pretty much like a bad case of the flu until one night he spiked a high fever and started having problems breathing. It was like 1 hour he was fine and the next he had to be hospitalized. He ended up on a ventilator for almost a week. Thankfully he's doing okay now, and he's recovering at home. His family also ended up sick, but they didn't need to be hospitalized. This virus is hitting everyone differently. For some it's like an average bout of the flu. Some people have severe symptoms, while others have minor and varying symptoms. Some people are asymptomatic. Some people need to be put on ventilators, and unfortunately we are losing a lot of people as well. I wouldn't wish this uncertainty on anyone. 1 minute your loved one is fine, just feeling a little under the weather. The next minute they might need to be hospitalized. You never know if they are going to bounce back or not. The virus doesn't care how old or how generally healthy you are, it will kick your butt if it wants to. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. See you on the next video.